Alrighty, blessings everyone. Okay, so let's just dive into this. Okay, again, there was some pretty exciting moments for me. I've got to tell you. I mean, it was revelation after revelation, and so I'm so excited to bring this to you. I truly am. Okay, so let's get started. So I started here with this picture. And I just want to read it out one more time before we get started, because this is what it's all about, right? And it's about discernment, and it's about actually looking at something and grasping it. It's not about looking at something and saying and discard it immediately because of where it came from, because it came from me, because you don't like my voice or my mannerism or whatever the case. For me, it's the truth. When the truth is put in front of you, it doesn't matter who it is that's telling you this truth. It's the truth that stands alone. It's not prejudiced. It stands alone. Jesus is the truth, okay? So but the truth is right there. Okay, so if someone heard something from Jonathan Kleck and there was truth in it, I would have to agree, because I believe there's a lot of things that Jonathan Kleck will say that I will say to myself, isn't that interesting? Because I'm getting some truth from him, you see? So then it's the discernment. Now you've got to discern where it's coming from. It's very important to do this, okay? So when you see, for example, all of these things in the background of Jonathan Kleck, you have to ask yourself, why? What is it that he is putting behind him? Symbolism, art, this is language, old language. Okay? The symbols were very important. This is how they spoke. Well, now it's back, and it's back stronger than ever, because the reason is now we are more awakened that this language never died but was hidden. And now, here it is. There is a lot of witchcraft and sorcery happening right now as we speak here on YouTube. I feel very strong about this, but it's really important that you don't get caught up in it. Okay? So here, I just want to say that discernment is grasping on and trying and comprehending that this thing is right in front of you. Now, when you discern, you do recognize, you observe, you see, you recognize, and you identify. You seek the truth, and you will hear it. But if you've got too many voices in your head, this one said this and this one said that, and I watched this video last night and I watched this video this morning, you're going to go crazy. Keep it quiet and keep it very close to your question. Ask yourself, are you asking the right question? Because if you're asking that same question over and over and over again, stop and just wonder if it's the right question. See, with me at a very young age, I knew that there was two different loves. There was the love of God, and then there was the love of my mother. And it was different. But I'll be getting into this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to try to keep this orderly. If not, if I go, from one side to the other, please just listen to what is being said. It doesn't matter for me if it's in order. It's what's being said here. Again, I'm going to be going into places that people are going to say, oh, she's too dark. She's dark. Oh yeah, she's all about the dark. Well, I want you to ask the right question. I bring you the testimonies of Jesus and I share my walk with you. Now, am I not the light in the dark that the dark cannot comprehend? Let's keep going. Okay. There's something here I need to speak out about before I go any further, because this is going to be very important as we go along. Okay. So here I have a picture of Mary Magdalene, and this is what Mary Magdalene had said and spoke to Peter and the boys, the men. Okay, so here I'm going to read this out, is what she said and what she asked Jesus, and this is her talking to the boys. And she began to speak to them these words. She said, I saw the Lord in a vision, and I said to him, Lord, I saw you today in a vision. He answered and said to me, Blessed are you that you did not waver at the sight of me. For where the mind is, there is the treasure. I said to him, Lord, how does he who sees the vision see it? Through the soul or through the spirit? The Savior answered and said, He does not see through the soul nor through the spirit, but the mind that is between the two, that is what sees the vision, and it is. Okay. Now, I know people are going to probably go ahead and say that I'm Gnostic because I'm talking about Mary Magdalene. And I'm reading from her book. And they will say, she's Gnostic. She's bringing in the Gnostic in with this. She's twisting it. She's whatever. Okay? I don't care what title you put on it, really. But I'm having a conversation with Mary Magdalene here, because what she asked Jesus is what Jesus showed me in a vision, a prophecy that came in 3 parts. And I identified with Mary Magdalene. I identified with her question. So with me, the second part, the second scene of the prophecy was this for me. I was in my early 20s. And I'm laying there on the couch. The kids are in school. And I'm really torn at this time. I'm going through something. This is where God put me down, and these emotions that I never had before tapped into me, like every fiber of my being. I was so lost and scared. I felt abandoned when this happened. So there was a lot of things going on around me at the time, and it was very wicked. It was evil that was coming at me, pure. So I'm laying there and I'm talking to Jesus and out loud, and I'm asking him, what do I do? Because I know that this goes back to the visitation when I was 16 years old, when I Am came to me. Because what I was looking at and in, was exactly what I asked for. So I knew that I needed to go to Jesus for the answer for this. And then I heard from behind me Jesus saying, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And it was right after he said that I received the prophecy that I now know was my brother, David. In the second scene, well, the first scene was a woman standing over a grave, and she was empty. I remember just walking away. At first I said sad, and then I stopped and I said, no, she's empty. And then the second vision, and this vision was a huge black dagger. And I have to say dagger. It was thick, and the knife, like the edge of it, it was, oh, really. Yeah, it was so surreal. It was just, right there. And what happened there was I went to come up with my arm. I'm coming up, and I noticed that my hand and my arm is completely white. And I go to touch the dagger. I for whatever, I have no understanding of this yet, but I want to touch that dagger. And I'm forceful with this, and all of a sudden this spirit, like this hand, this invisible hand, grabs me by the wrist and pulls my hand away from the dagger. So I saw my hand white. I experienced the invisible hand that grabbed me around the wrist, the white, grabbed me around the wrist and literally pulled me away where I was really struggling to touch it. So when Mary Magdalene spoke and said that, and Jesus answered and said that it's in between that sees the vision. That's exactly what happened. I looked right at the dagger. I saw at the corner of my eye my hand come up, and I looked and I seen my hand was white. And then I was going towards the dagger, and that's when I felt a hand around my wrist that I did not see, pulling my hand, the white hand, away from the dagger. So there was 3 things that happened there. There was the white hand, the invisible hand, that was not mine, and I saw a huge black dagger. And this dagger, I'm going to tell you, was upwards. Again, this is going to be very important down the road. So one of my revelations here, it was just amazing to me, was Moses, Exodus 4:7. Now here's Moses. I believe this is where the rods are snakes, and he goes to grab the tail of the snake. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, hath appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow, white. His hand was white. And he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as the other flesh. I just Okay. All right, one more time. And he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. This is Exodus 4:7. So it doesn't matter to me whether you think that I'm Gnostic or not. If that's what you think that I am, then there you go. But there is truth in what Mary had said, and the question she asked Jesus was the right question, wouldn't you think? Okay, got to keep going. Okay. And yes, I put the X up here, which again is going to be very important as we go along, and it's a hooked X. All right, so now I'm bringing you back here, and again, I'm bringing you here because it doesn't really have anything written on it. It's the original look, okay? And I really want everybody to understand here that what I'm doing is I'm discerning this picture. And again, I cannot stress this enough that when Jesus showed himself to me, when he spoke to me, there was always prophecy. Okay? And I really did overlook all of that. I just didn't remember. I wasn't putting it all together, you see? So now that I'm putting it all together, discerning the picture, I'm seeing so much more, and it's right where I'm supposed to be understanding of the vision. So that was like 47 years, and I started to speak about the vision, and understanding the vision was 47 years later. So I would say that would be a long term, right, for the understanding of it. Because again, a vision is given in a mystery. I mean, you have, like I had 3 parts every time. There was always in 3, even within the dream, it was always in 3. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. And it's as I go along that I'm able to understand. And again, here we have the picture where, again, I was told to take the picture, and I didn't know what of, and I took the picture, and it was a huge tree that I was behind when I took the picture. So you're seeing the leaves here. This is the branches, leaves, okay? Well, I looked at this and I always saw the long-legged boot. I always recognized that. Not sure, knowing a little bit, then I found out that it was the shape of Italy, but I didn't know what to do with that either, you know? So again, this is all in mystery. And so I'm seeing the boot very clearly, and then I knew right away, again, we had the ancient stone and Jesus, the angel in black with the cross behind him. I don't see that right now. And so here behind him, I am now just figuring these things out with the boot and this thing here. Okay? So, talking about discernment. So we have it looks like a fallen angel. Would that be safe to say? So we have like a leg here, and then another leg, his other leg right here, and it's on a stool. It looks like on a step. Okay, so it goes up here. There's his leg, body, his head's right here, but this is his wing. So it looks like he's looking into a screen, and this is a real squared off screen. It looks to me, it has a like a stand. Then we have the screen. Okay, it's got the two poles at both ends here showing. You've got to remember these are leaves. This is supposed to be a leaf. Then I continued with this, and I'm still working and receiving about this here. But then I noticed also that this angel here in black has no wings, and this one does. Does that mean anything? Maybe. But there's a difference. What's going on here? I'm not sure what's happening here. I'm not even sure if I'm paused or not. See, I've got some new equipment here, and really I'm having some hard times with this. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here.